Welcome. You're watching To The Point on India Today. I'm Smita Sharma. Curfew continues in the valley for nearly 50 days now. And on the second and final day of Home Minister Rajanath Singh's valley visit, Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti addressed a joint press conference with him. But losing her cool over a question on the 2010 turmoil, Mehbooba Mufti stormed out. Meanwhile, appealing for calm, the Home Minister claimed that the government is looking for alternatives for pellet guns. Here's a ground report.
पथराव से कैंपों पे हमला करने से कोई मसला हल होने वाला नहीं है। थैंक यू वेरी मच। चले।
Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti losing her cool, retorting aggressively to a scribe who drew parallel between the current unrest and the 2010 turmoil in the valley.
2010 में जो हुआ उसका रीजन था। आप इन दो चीजों को मत मिलाइए। उस वक्त सरकार का एक रीजन था लोगों का कि फेक एनकाउंटर में सिविलियन मारे गए।
As the unrest in the valley entered its 48th day, Mehbooba Mufti addressed a joint conference with Home Minister Rajanath Singh.
95% लोग पीसफुल तरीके से इसका रेजोल्यूशन चाहते हैं। दैट मींस देयर इज अ पॉलिटिकल प्रॉब्लम। मगर 5% लोगों ने इसको हाईजैक किया है।
छोटे छोटे बच्चे 17 साल 18 साल 15 साल 20 साल के नौजवान, उनके हाथों में कंप्यूटर कलम बुक्स होनी चाहिए। कौन लोग हैं जो उन्हें इजाजत देते हैं पत्थर उठाने की?
On the final day of his two-day visit and in face of harsh criticism over the use of pellet guns, Rajnath gave a 3-point formula for the violence-hit valley.
हम लोग इस पेलेट गन का एक विकल्प, इसका अल्टरनेटिव देंगे। हम हिंदुस्तान का फ्यूचर यदि बनाना चाहते हैं तो कश्मीर का फ्यूचर नहीं बनेगा तो हिंदुस्तान का भी फ्यूचर नहीं बन सकता।
So far, 70 people have lost lives and more than 7,000, including 3,000 security personnel, have been injured in ongoing clashes across Kashmir.
Home Minister Rajanath Singh's visit seemed to be lacking in clarity as to what really was the political strategy of the government in terms of reaching out to those who are angry. In all this, a huge question mark hangs over the success of Modi government's Mission Kashmir. With cameraman Roof, Shujaul Haq in Srinagar for India Today.
So did the Home Minister's visit really inspire any confidence? And is Mehbooba Mufti in control of her state? These are the questions we will be raising with our panel of experts exactly in 3 minutes from now after this short break. But remember also on the second half of To The Point, we will shift focus to the flood fury in Bihar and Lalu Prasad's comments 2 days of his Srinagar visit and a joint press conference with Mehbooba Mufti. Did Rajnath Singh and the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir inspire confidence in people? I'm joined by GVL Narasimha Rao, spokesperson of the BJP, Sanjay Jha, spokesperson of the Congress, as well as Shujat Bukhari, is a senior journalist and editor of Rising Kashmir. Shujat, you are the voice in the valley at the moment. To begin with you saw the press conference and you saw the reaching out of Rajnath Singh. Did the two leaders inspire confidence amongst Kashmiris today?
Samita, honestly, not much confidence in the sense that you must have seen that how press conference ended at the end, and it did not inspire much confidence in the valley, which has been locked for nearly 50 days now, and 70 people have been killed, more than 7,000 people have been injured. So, but there is a slight change. I can say that as far as Home Minister Rajnath Singh is concerned, this time the tone was little different and approach was also little different, as he did talk about saying that we are ready to talk to all the people, though he didn't specify the people whom he would talk, in spite of the fact that he met only those people who don't have any problem as far as accession of Jammu and Kashmir state with rest of the India is concerned.
Okay.
He did not meet any significant people as far as the current background is concerned.
Very quickly, Shujat, who would be the significant people in your view that he should have met?
See, I mean, I don't think that it could have come overnight to actually reach out to Hurriyat. There should have been some back channel exercise which should have been done, and obviously the government of India I firmly believe, will have to reach out to those people who challenge Kashmir's accession to India, and that they are the people who are obviously the Hurriyat Conference and all others. And I think they certainly would be beneficial as far as controlling the situation is concerned.
Right.
He did talk about the pellet guns and finding an alternative, and I hope that there will be an alternative, because more than 400 people have been hit by that and 200 have lost their eyesight.
Okay.
I think that there should have been more homework done before this visit.
Okay, Sanjay Jha, did you think that the government looks sincere in its approach, that at least it's trying to now take steps, even if it's a little late, but it's trying to take steps in the right direction?
Yeah, to be very honest, let me tell you, when after so many days of curfew and nearly 70 people dead and thousands injured, I think this is a very belated reaction from the government. It's particularly disappointing because you have the BJP both as part of the state government with the PDP as well as at the center. So, you know, in a great number of ways, that ought to have actually accelerated the process itself of trying to find out, you know, first to bring peace into the Kashmir Valley and then to work towards a more meaningful solution. But I think, you know, there's been a lot of hollow rhetoric. I even felt that the Prime Minister reacted extremely late, and he borrowed, you know, Atal Bihari Vajpayee's famous lines. But the truth is that, you know, end of day, these are very profound language, and, you know, all that is fine. But at the ground level, is there anything different?
Okay.
You know, when you heard Mr. Arun Jaitley call the protesters and the stone pelters as Pakistan stooges at one time, and you have the Prime Minister talking about insaniyat the other day, then you find that there are very conflicting messages going out from the central government. And as far as the state government is concerned, it's very evident that Mufti, the Chief Minister, Mufti Muhammad Saeed, in a different league altogether. She has been demanding that the army should apologize for the killing of Burhan Wani. While you have the BJP that has been, you know, kind of saying, well, the death of Burhan Wani was an accident and so on. So I think there is a very confused signals emerging from the state, and I think the center has been very indecisive and late.
Okay, let me take that question to Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao. You know, two things. Shujat thinks this was a half-baked attempt without having done a proper homework. And as Mr. Sanjay Jha points out, that on the one hand, while your senior government voices have demonized Kashmiris in such a terrible way, where they almost say that every stone pelter is on the payrolls of Kashmir, that the dimensions are all externally driven. On the other hand, when you go and try to talk to them, isn't there a contradictory and a confusing signal that is sent out by your government, Mr. Rao?
A lot of these protests are engineered. A lot of this, there is a sponsoring from across the border, is a stand known to everyone. But we are engaging in a dialogue with all stakeholders in the valley, because the objective is to bring complete normalcy in the state. And any groups, even Mehbooba Mufti had stated it's only a small, minuscule percentage of people who are actually involved in these acts. We also know a lot of these separatists and their families, their children are not involved in this. But certainly a lot of young people from poor families have been forced into some of these actions.
What percentage are we talking about, sir? Would you be able to give an estimate of what percentage are you talking about? Because from the statements, it looks like the entire protests are externally driven.
No, I have no independent estimate to offer to you. I think Chief Minister of the state has made such an estimate. I think you should go by that. I think she said 95% of the people want to have a dialogue and want to have any kind of concerns they have through peaceful means. It's only that minuscule minority which is involved in these violent protests, and a lot of these are financed, and they are actually sponsored by separatists who have had absolutely no effect on the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Only a few months ago, when the elections were held in the state, when their boycott calls were negated by the people. But you have a situation there. Government certainly intends to talk to everyone. When the Home Minister said my doors are open for a dialogue, he was willing to meet any stakeholder from the state of Jammu and Kashmir. I don't think he was excluding anyone who wants to discuss within the framework that the government had mentioned. They are all welcome to have a dialogue with him when he was there.
Shujat, would you say this is a genuine situation? At the end of the day today, Mehbooba Mufti raised some questions which will actually be music to the centre's ears, because she asked, why are these stone pelters expecting that they will be murderous mobs, they will attack police posts and they will not get shot at? These were her questions asked. So, in a way, when the centre is trying to reach out, what is stopping the Hurriyat from taking on this dialogue option? Or do they not find this dialogue option as sincere?
See, Samita, I don't think that that's a fair statement when you say that there are only a handful of people who are indulging in violence. There is no denying the fact that there have been stone pelting has been on for a long time, and youth have resorted to that. Having said that, I think that, you can't compare the state and the mob. There has to be a difference between the state's response and that how mob actually behaves. So as far as this argument is concerned, that we have actually fired in self-defense when we were attacked. If you look at the figures at the police stations which were attacked, there have been no casualties at those police stations. So I think, it's not a fair statement, that too coming from a leader who is actually running the state. So these theories of 5% people, we earlier have been hearing the theory of this is the problem of 5 police stations, then it came down, it actually was upgraded to 5 districts of Valley, and we have also been hearing that this is the problem of Sunni Kashmiri speaking people and Shia is not with it, Gujar Bakarwal is not with it. These are all theories which have been deflated on the ground.
So you are saying this is not about an Islamic churning, this is a popular sentiment on the ground today?
No, certainly it's a popular sentiment, whether you agree with it or not. If you continue to be in a denial mode, you will not be able to find a solution to it. Islamic factor might be one of the factors in it. It is not the complete factor. But the question is that you will have to actually realize the ground situation, and then you can take stock of it. Then you can find a roadmap that how you have to go about it.
Okay.
If from the beginning you are in a denial mode that there's nothing is happening on the ground, as far as Hurriyat is concerned, I'll not be speaking on behalf of the Hurriyat, but the fact is that all those people have been either house arrest or they are jailed. They have actually tried this in 2004. They engaged in dialogue with centre, with Vajpayee government, with Manmohan Singh government, but at the end of the day they were discredited because they were not offered anything. So I think there's this whole chain and string of actually betrayals and all other things which have become part of our fate.
Shujat, fair points you have raised. Let me take this to Mr. Rao. Because 2 points that Shujat is saying. A, that your mobs can be murderers for political aspirations, but the state's response has to be even more responsible. It cannot really go on a on a literally murderous response to such mobs. B, that the Hurriyat, it's successive governments that have tried discrediting the Hurriyat. They have termed them as nothing but a bunch of jokers. That's the sentiment that's been shared. So why now try to reach out to all stakeholders, knowing that perhaps they wouldn't like to come to the table?
No, as far as your first question is concerned, I think the security forces have exercised maximum restraint. The number of security forces who have actually been hit and who have been injured in these protests over the last month and a half is a big number. More than 4,000 security forces have been injured.
It's around 2,500 security forces and 7,000 people who are injured.
The extent of attack. So you cannot, it's I think the Home Minister had stated in the conference that nearly 4,000 odd security forces have also been injured. So you can understand the extent of provocation. Now I think you cannot expect security forces to stand as mute spectators and be killed in a provocative situation. So there is a restraint from the security forces now. They're being told to restrain. Pellet guns also could be completely off the consideration list very soon. The government is taking all positive overtures. So if the troublemakers want to continue with the trouble, I think you cannot expect security forces to simply remain spectators.
On that before I go to Sanjay Jha. Shujat, do you see restraint from security forces?
No. Samita, I mean, honestly, I don't think restraint from the forces. I mean, as far as the figures which are being given, the security forces and police personnel have been injured. Please take me to any hospital where these people are admitted. I would be happy to see them. I'm not saying that I would be happy to see big numbers of security forces. Please take me to the hospitals. But on the other hand, I can tell you as of now, the official record which is with me, 7,228 people have been injured. 977 out of these have been grievously injured. 3745 civilians have been hit by pellets. 501 have been hit by bullets. 1407 have been injured by tear gas, and 303 people have been beaten up. So I think, I mean, these are all people who are in hospitals. I am not trying to actually compare the figures as far as injured are concerned. I mean, if people are killed on both sides, that's very bad.
Yes, these are Indians that have been killed, whether it be security forces or Kashmiris. I mean, so, you know, it's not about statistics.
For God's sake, try to avoid statistics that we are doing this and that. As I said earlier, that there has to be a difference as far as state is concerned and mob is concerned. So let us think coolly and see that how pellets have been more lethal than the firearms, for that matter.
You know,
so don't you think that there is a problem on the ground?
Okay, Shujat, I'll come back to you. Sanjay Jha, you know, on the one side, of course, there is the security aspect that we are talking about. Mr. Rao, I'll come back to you, where the Home Minister is saying we'll try and ensure maximum restraint, we'll try and remove pellet guns and remove them with alternate options. The political dimension. How did you find Rajanath Singh and Mehbooba Mufti in that press conference today? Is there a disconnect between the BJP and the PDP? Are they in control of the situation? What is your view on the political dimension?
Well, you know, I'll give you one simple example. I mean, Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti said that there are only 5% of the people who are really aggrieved and who are protesting. Then somebody will ask her the next logical question, that since you have virtually one soldier for every 10 civilians in Jammu and Kashmir, and if you've got only 5% of the people who are, you know, expressing unhappiness, that should be very easy to control. So clearly there is an administrative lapse or frankly a political ignorance being demonstrated there. The second point, and that is very fundamental, is that, you know, end of day, the BJP and the PDP are two ideologically, you know, opposite, you know, players in the political spectrum. Their views are different. You know, don't forget that the BJP doesn't have a single seat in the Kashmir Valley. And, you know, there are, you know, wrong signals have been sent already by a delayed response from the center. And the fact that both PDP and BJP have actually looked very reluctant to even come together to, you know, can you imagine a press conference happening where Indian citizens have died after 48 days of, you know, curfew? That itself is a manifestation that this has not been handled as well as it should have been, knowing how sensitive Jammu and Kashmir is. So the truth is that today when Mr. Rao says that Pakistan is fishing in troubled waters, he's absolutely right. I agree with him. But if we don't get our house in order, Pakistan will take advantage of the cross-border opportunities they get.
Mr. Rao, please respond to that. You know, is your alliance in itself so wrong with the PDP? You know, that's a party that has been talking about self-rule. You are a party that has been wanting abrogation of 370. By itself, it's so wrong that it sends out a wrong message to people who think that this is an alliance simply for power. They're not going to listen about what the people want.
I think there is complete harmony in the alliance. It's only the Congress party like Pakistan is trying to fish in troubled waters, trying to cynically exploit the situation for its politics. Chidambaram's former Home Minister's statement that PDP Congress should come together with NC to form a government shows how petty-minded the Congress has become. And you have Digvijay Singh saying India occupied Kashmir. What are the kind of signals that a major opposition party in the country is trying to send? We expect even the Congress party to exercise some restraint and behave in a mature fashion. So we don't really, there will not be tomorrow.
Sir, you know, Congress party might make statements, but at the moment the alliance is yours and PDP. As an alliance partner, do you think Ms. Mehbooba Mufti is in control of her state?
I think there is a situation, but certainly this situation has not come about because of any friction in the alliance. It's a killing of a militant, and after protests that have really emerged in the valley, which is clearly, which has been clearly supported, sponsored, and egged on by Pakistan.
Sir, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry to interrupt. I have to ask you, the killing of the militant and the handling.
Internal differences within the alliance that this situation has emerged.
Mr. Rao, I'm very sorry to interrupt, but as far as the handling of the killing of Burhan Wani is also concerned, we saw different voices. BJP saying something and the PDP saying that, perhaps had we known it was Burhan Wani, we may have not tried doing things differently. So there were different signals that were sent out. Clearly, there have been huge problems, be it, of course, the Sainik colony issues, the Kashmiri Pandit issues. There have been ideological issues constantly between the BJP and the PDP on Kashmir.
Yeah, and Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti wanted the armed forces to apologize for the killing of Burhan Wani.
And it was not by choice. This government was formed. Can I finish? This government was formed out of a compulsive situation that has emerged post-elections in Jammu and Kashmir. If any other government formation would have been possible, they would have tried it. I think this was the only possible alliance in that particular situation, and therefore we have come together on a common agenda of governance, and we will continue to work according to that common agenda of governance, because for the party, for the BJP, it's the national interest that is more important. We are in power at the center. For us to impose president's rule in Jammu and Kashmir and rule from Delhi would have been very easy. But we chose the harder alternative. We are a junior partner in the state, so we have actually sacrificed our political interest at the altar of national interest. And we expect other political parties to also show their national duty and not to indulge in politics over what's happening.
Senator, quick reaction to that. Do you think that's true, that the alliance seems to be working fine and it's actually parties like the Congress and the NC that are wanting to fish in troubled waters?
Well, let me tell you that ever since the all-party meeting happened with the Prime Minister, which was, by the way, having both the NC as well as the Congress party, that we saw the first real, tangible, and if at all any meaningful initiative being taken by Mr. Modi's government to even reach out to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. So, in fact, I think all the political parties have demonstrated great political maturity, and Mr. Rao, nobody has to prove their patriotic credentials to you, so forget it. The bottom line is that Jammu and Kashmir is a sensitive territory and it is a matter of grave concern for every Indian. But the fact is that this is an opportunistic alliance. Mr. Rao can deny it till the cows come home, but the truth is that they have been there for power because that's the only way they could have cobbled up a government. But that is sent a signal to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. They don't know whether to believe the leadership or not. And therefore, it's important for them to reach out, communicate more vigorously and build credibility. And that's why you're in government, Mr. Rao. You should do it.
But Shujat, as a Kashmiri, would you say that that is a huge problem today, that crisis of credibility? Does Mehbooba Mufti inspire confidence that she will be able to walk into crowds, ask them to calm down? Or even for that matter, even if the separatists were to come on board, because they are the ones who continue to give these hartal cycles, would the people on the ground even listen to separatists today?
See, that's a very pertinent question, in the sense that those people who have been beating the drum for so many times that 75% people have actually voted and took part in the elections. I mean, those elected representatives are actually today in hiding. Why don't they go to the people? That's a very important question. And number two, what BJP spokesperson was saying, I would like to ask him that has BJP shown any shred of respect to the agenda of alliance in 1.5 years? They have gone against the agenda of alliance at every step. So I don't think it's a marriage of convenience that they have to be in power. They have not shown any respect to the agenda of alliance. They have gone against that agenda. So that's why I think that's one of the factors that is working on the ground today. So I think that, the crisis in Kashmir today is that there is complete denial. You are not accepting that there's a political reality on the ground. You are actually giving much more credit to Pakistan than it deserves. I mean, if Pakistan is able to do all this, that you have to lock down Kashmir for 48 days, then Pakistan is, in that sense, in a better position on ground in Kashmir than India.
Please respond to that, JBL Narasimha Rao. You're nodding your head, I can see that. Respond to what Shujat is saying.
I
think it's... Okay, Shujat, complete your thoughts. Yeah.
Please tell me. Please tell me that if pellet gun is being used anywhere in India, was it used in Gujarat? Was it used in Haryana agitation? Why for Jammu and Kashmir only? Why not to withdraw it? Why to find an alternate for that matter?
Okay, Shujat, let's get the answer from Mr. Rao, please. Shujat, let's get the answer. Yes, Mr. Rao, go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
I think the pellet guns was actually introduced, or idea emerged when National Conference and Congress were in power in the state. And this was the, so obviously after the kind of results we have had recently, a quick review had been announced. And today Home Minister said in a matter of few days, I think we could find a completely non-lethal alternative to it. But the problem, the sponsorship of Pakistan to the entire separatists, to the troublemakers, and even to sections of the media in Jammu and Kashmir, I think they're all on payrolls. I think they all have had a role to play in this. But certainly we are at a time when we are demanding POK we are demanding Pakistan to return POK to us, or to withdraw from POK. There is no question of any compromise or any discussions with groups which have any problem.
Mr. Rao, through successive elections in
India, I think the question is these troublemakers will be...
I have to come on this because he has leveled an allegation. No. I think the statement made by BJP spokesperson is, I take strong exception to this, because they are the people who are defenseless, who have nothing to say in their defense. You are talking about Pakistan occupied Kashmir. You are not able to take care of this Kashmir. You will be able to take care of that Kashmir. You don't have control in this part of Kashmir. You have to impose curfew for 50 days here. And you are talking about taking control, and you are leveling allegations against the media, which was banned here for 5 days, where newspapers were not allowed to be print.
No, Mr. Narasimha Rao, I'm very confused. On the one hand, your Prime Minister...
for anybody.
Mr. Rao, our Prime Minister continues to say Kashmiris are our own people. On the other hand, you say all of them are on the payrolls of Pakistan. What kind of message are you sending out, sir?
Yeah, I speak for myself. I don't speak for anybody else.
No,
but you are not able to take care of this part of Kashmir.
Shujat, let Mr. Rao reply,
please. Pakistan has been trying to create trouble. This is how. I think, have no doubts. We shall not only prevail, we shall not only control, we shall not only establish normacy, we will also ensure Pakistan vacates POK.
Okay, Sanjay Jha.
However much anyone who is opposed to this might try.
Right. Let me get some final comments. Sanjay Jha, in that case, you've heard what Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao is commenting on. Do you think that really the situation will be under control very soon? Or do you see the state actually, the way the government is operating, that perhaps it's in their interest that the state moves towards a governor's rule? Does that seem to be a larger scheme of things here?
Yeah, frankly, I was very stunned to hear Mr. Rao mention that. In fact, he almost threatened that President's rule is something that the BJP is contemplating. If that is so, then if Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti is hearing this program, she ought to be extremely alarmed, as will be the people of Kashmir. Because on the same breath, he talked about a historic mandate that happened just a year and a half ago. So clearly, just a minute, I'm answering the anchor. I'm answering Smita. Please don't interrupt me, please don't interrupt me, sir. Let me finish.
Please go ahead, sir.
The point I'm making, what worries me, Smita, to be very honest, is that the BJP seems to be constantly bringing Pakistan into it. Now let me tell you. Can I finish, Mr. Rao, please? 30 seconds, please. They keep bringing in Pakistan. Now, the point is that Pakistan will take advantage of any situation if India allows them to come in on a red carpet welcome. Pakistan will fish in troubled waters, Mr. Rao. You know it, and we know it. We have both been in government, and we are aware of that reality. That's the reason why we are expressing our apprehensions. And the fact that you are repeatedly today in this program, when we are talking about an internal problem, principally an internal problem, you keep trying to externalize the issue, I think gives us the impression that this government is still in denial. And if you are in denial today, let me tell you, that doesn't augur too well.
Just final comments from you, 30 seconds each. Mr. Rao, would you say that you're externalizing the problem too much because it is convenient? It's a good diversionary tactic because you do not really have a concrete internal policy at the moment.
No, there is a clear, I think anyone who doesn't see a clear internal policy, I think have a problem of understanding as to what is happening. There has been an initiative right at the level of Honorable Prime Minister. I think he has had meetings with all representatives of all parties. The Home Minister's visit comes in the wake of that meeting. The Home Minister has taken message from Honorable Prime Minister, and there is an engagement. There is an effort to engage with every section and to address the problem from the angle of development, security, and also at a political level.
Sir, you've made your point. I'm afraid I have to wrap up the show. Shujat, final 30 seconds of words from you. Do you see the state moving towards governor's rule? Are you hopeful that the situation will be under control soon otherwise?
No, I don't think that state is heading towards governor's rule, and I think that should have been very clear at today's press conference. So as far as the state moving where, I think that, as I said earlier in my opening remarks, that Rajanath Singh's tone was certainly different. He talked about talking to all the people, and I hope now that the channels of communication would be open with all stakeholders, and especially those people who have a stake in this, and there should be a mechanism. I hope, Government of India has a chance this time to engage with the people, because absence of political engagement is actually responsible for this thing what we have been seeing since July 8.
Okay, we'll in fact end the show on that note, because clearly we can only hope that this dialogue process that has now been initiated after nearly 49 or 48 days of curfew, that it's not just symbolic, that it's a sincere effort. Maybe Kashmiris also have to introspect and try and find that one face who can really, sort of represent their voice, because they don't seem to have any faith at the moment in the mainstream parties, in political parties, or even to say the Hurriyat at the very least. So we can only hope that solutions are found to this crisis very soon. Many thanks, Shujat, as well as Mr. Sanjay Jha, for joining us. But Mr. Narasimha Rao continues with us, because on the other side, we show you pictures, ground situation in Bihar, the flood fury, and the very comments that are made by Lalu Prasad Yadav. Fury in Bihar, while the state is completely under waters, the CM comes to Delhi, seeks assistance from Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But on the other hand, Lalu Prasad Yadav, whose RJD is in alliance with the JDU in the state, he seems to be making comments that definitely do not come across as funny. Let's listen in first to what the RJD Supremo had to say.
गंगा जी चढ़ गई तोरा दियरा में और तोरा चूल्हा में गईली, ये भागशाली है, अब कम बात है, कोई जल मिलता है गंगा का? ये सब विरोधी लोग, बीजेपी का लोग, ये झारखंड और बीजेपी का राज जो फंस रहा था अभी, ये इतना पापिष्टी लोग है कि लोग गंगा का जल बेच रहा था, और गंगा माँ बिना इन लोगों के परवाह किए पूरे सब जगह गंगा जी आई.
Okay, we have been trying to, in fact, get in voices of JDU and RJD leaders as well to see as to what do they really have to say about their leaders' comments. We are still trying. Hopefully, one of them will get on the phone and give us a reaction. But meanwhile, GVL Narasimha Rao of the BJP continues to be with us. Mr. Rao, how do you look at these comments? Lalu Prasad Yadav to say that these flooded homes are lucky because the water of Ganga Maiya has actually entered these homes.
No, I think this is adding further problems to the sufferings of the people. It's a very, very insensitive comment, atrocious comment. You don't expect politicians, and that to a party in power which is unable to provide even basic relief to the people of Bihar, who have really suffered. I think on top of it, you make such offensive and such unpardonable comments. I think it's highly unfortunate. We expect Lalu Prasad Yadav to immediately apologize for his comments, and for Nitish Kumar, who has proved to be a complete failure in providing basic relief. There are protests happening in all districts of Bihar. Over the last 3 days, there are massive protests. People are asking for basic relief. People are asking for food. Fodder. They have not been able to provide anything.
Is it fair to say that he has been a complete failure, because Kosi has been Bihar's sorrow for the longest time?
Very, very offensive
and even when the BJP was in power, the
I
state
think,
had been hit by
this
floods.
Is unpardonable. I think. No, I think the question is not of, the question is of immediate relief. What we are questioning is the lack of initiative, lack of response from the government in providing relief to the people who are affected, millions of people who are affected by this. I think you have Nitish Kumar, who is only interested in doing politics all over the country, but has no time for governing Bihar. Lalu Prasad Yadav has visited only his son's constituency. He doesn't go anywhere beyond that. And
Okay.
people saying floods have come to your home. So this is Ganga Jal. So you are blessed. I think what kind of nonsense is this?
Okay.
I think the entire government must apologize to the people of Bihar
Right.
for not providing relief and also for making this kind of comments. It's not at all funny. It's extremely objectionable and
Right, sir.
extremely offensive.
Right, absolutely. It's a sad reflection, this comment, and while it's unfortunate that the JDU or the RJD leaders did not choose to come here and try and defend their leaders, I wonder if that apology will come through. But we can only hope that Nitish Kumar in the state, along with the centre's assistance, can try and get as much relief as possible for the people of Bihar who are clearly devastated at the moment. Appreciate you joining us on the broadcast. This is what we have today as far as To The Point is concerned. News and updates continue on the other side. If you have been, thanks for watching. Goodbye.